total in the game is 47.5. What do you think?
Yo, that total is high. Why is it so high? I hate when they do things like this, the number, because Kansas City, second half, this is another nice little nugget. You guys probably are familiar with this, but for the folks listening to us, the under for Kansas City has been 18-2. 18-2. They don't allow a lot of points.
Second halves are crazy too. Like no scoring in the second half.
The second half under has been 18-2 with Kansas City. So you see that line set at 47. Is they're begging you to do what? Take the under. Right? That's what they're begging you to do.
Are they?
Yes, because it's 47, Nick.
Are you going to bet the under?
You're going to bet the second half
I'm taking the second half under.
Fourth quarter under.
Yeah.
I kind of like the over in the game myself.
He thinks it's going to get loose late in the game.
I think it's going to be like a cagey game, and then I think it explodes at the end.
And that's why when you talk about the line, because if you follow Kansas City offensively, they've been a little issue. It's been iffy. But defense, they play lights out. But now you're talking about 47? And if you look at San Francisco, that's the issue. San Francisco defense has been lukewarm as well. I'm taking the second half under Kansas City. I'm taking the under. Okay. Kansas, in the second half, they don't allow a lot of points. I don't know about the game total, but second half under is where I'm leaning to.
Obviously played for a really long time at a really high level. Everybody kind of thinks, we've had a lot of guests on the show, not anybody like you, obviously, and it's all consensus. It's Mahomes, so, like, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Like, you're obviously going to think a lot deeper about the game than that. Do people have it wrong? How do you see it playing out?
I say that too, but 49ers are the better team. I mean, it's clear on both sides of the football when you talk about across the board, the amount of players they got, their capabilities and what they can do. They're the better team. But guess what? So is Baltimore.
Right.
So is, in my opinion, so are the Bills. And the Chiefs found a way to win. And so I've been on the other end of that spectrum. We had to run into the Patriots, right? In those years in the playoffs where 06, we were definitely 100% better. We could have been better than them on 07, maybe not.
So my opinion is, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think if Rivers and LT were both healthy for that game, because you lost.
All of us.
You guys were plus 9.5. I bet you lost by 9. I won my bet. You settled for 4 Nate Kading field goals in the game. I actually think that you guys, if LT and Rivers were both healthy, would have definitely beaten the Patriots in that game.
Gates had a foot. Rivers had a knee. LT had a knee. I had a knee. We had about 9 guys crawling into that game.
You outplayed them in the game.
Yeah.
Is that the best team you were ever on?
The 06 team, yeah. That 06 team for sure. We're the most, in my opinion, and people can argue this all they want because 07 Patriots know what. I think we're the most dominant team of the decade that did, period, across the board.
You ever forgive Marlon McCree?
Yeah. I mean, look, because I actually made a joke of it the other day because Greenlaw at the end of the game a few games ago, he caught the interception.
I'm trying to cover the spread.
I'm screaming at the TV, dude, go down. Right. And so I forgot.
He was up for a while, too.
I forgot about the Marlon thing. And that happened, and I had PTSD. I dropped my phone. I was like, oh, my God, dude, just go down. But you can't blame a player because you can't practice that. Who think they're going to get an interception in the game-winning drive, right? Like your adrenaline's going. So I don't necessarily fault him just for that. But, man, it hurts, especially when people bring it up and talk about it.
Outside of Christian McCaffrey, which San Francisco 49ers skill position player will have the best game on Sunday?
I think Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk. I mean, look, these are great corners.
So do you think that, because I think a lot of people are saying, Baldy, that L'Jarius Sneed's going to guard Ayuk. Do you think that's going to happen? And if so, can Ayuk get the better of him?
I don't think he'll travel with him. It's not really something they do. They can do it. L'Jarius is a great player. But so is Trent McDuffie. So is Jalen Watson. They're all very good. They're all very smart. Just because of the way that they move players around, I don't know if L'Jarius will travel with them. He's given up 1 touchdown pass all year. But I do believe in the route running ability of Brandon Ayuk. I believe that he's an elite route runner. And if they put L'Jarius on him, I think he can defeat him.
Wow.
I think something we're wondering. Yeah, absolutely. Something we're wondering, too, is San Francisco's offense. And Andy Reid even talked about this. All the Kansas City Chiefs talked about it when they watched Brock Purdy on film. They go, obviously, the Shanahan schemes are excellent. Purdy was number 1 in the league in a bunch of passing statistics. But Purdy running the ball was like a huge part of that Lions game. The key plays on the drive, it's almost like this light bulb moment for Purdy where he takes off. Could you see them doing that in this game, like Purdy having success based on how the Chiefs might defend them?
Well, it could. It could. I mean, if he's not going to run just to run. He's not going to take off because they don't expect him to take off or because they're not keeping eyes on him. He's going to run because the situation dictates it. And that's decision-making. And that's why he's so undervalued by a lot of people. This guy behind us right here, Cam Newton, he's not a big fan. All right, but that's okay. like you can all have your opinion, but the guy's decision making is elite, and it was in that game, and they were critical runs. But you also we seen him avoid rushes over the first year and a half that he's played. We haven't seen those type of 3 runs for 52 yards or chunks.
Right.
Those are when you get chunks like that, you generally score on those drives, and they did.
Has anything changed? What's your updated thought on how you see the game playing out on Sunday?
I think that side and total are obviously sharp in this game. I think if anything, you wait until post and bet under because
you think the total's going up? Is that what you're?
Well, they always do in a game like this, right? Because you get the public. The public likes favorites and overs.
Yep.
But the public likes Mahomes too. So I don't know if you're going to get kind of that back and forth. The sharps like, San Francisco in this game for a lot of reasons. The large part being, if this game was played last December, it's probably what? Kansas City plus 6.5.
So you mean 3 months ago?
Like a month and a half ago.
Right.
Because San Francisco is 6.5.
San Francisco is 5.5 against like Baltimore. Baltimore was rated higher than Kansas City at that point.
And so I think the public would have almost always likes favorites in a normal situation, but they like underdog Mahomes. So there's going to be I think there's going to be push and pull there, but favorite overs are always like by the public. So 47.5 now is a high total for a Chiefs game, given the confluence of they're really good at stopping EPA, but they're not all that good at stopping first downs. So you're going to get game played between the 40s and then punts, and that's how I see it.
There's your Shanahan decision making coming into play again in all those situations,
exactly.
Right? Exactly,
and Reed will do it, but the Chiefs settle for a lot of field goals still, and even when their offense is doing okay. The other part is Kansas City in the regular season 8 interceptions forced the whole year. I know they got a little bit better in the playoff game against the Ravens forcing turnovers, but a lot of the stuff that's conducive to overs, the Chiefs just don't do, and that was why they were 6-14 to the over in the regular season.
Pick the winner of the game.
I still think the Chiefs win because it's Mahomes, and I think that Kyle Shanahan, until you see him do it, which means make solid choices. Like the tattoo on the neck and that internship.
No
make
regrets.
Solid choices.
No regrets.
Yeah. I think that I think I have to see him do it before I believe that he can. So Mahomes, even though that is incredibly square play, I think Mahomes money line. If you can get it at plus 110 or so, probably a good play.
Let's do
any number over 75 is fine.
Let's do Ray Bork 77.
Will the game go to overtime? Yes, no.
What's the price?
Would you pay plus 750 that it will?
I don't.
It does actually. The coaches is what would make me think maybe.
I have to tell you, like I wouldn't like water gun to my head. I would not be like, yeah, the game's going to overtime.
Well, who would make it's a stupid prediction because it's unlikely.
I think I might toss a couple bucks on that the game might go to over. Now look, I'm not like math wizard to say, oh well, actually the probability
it should be
plus,
10-1 or it should be 15-1.
That I don't know.
Right.
I'm also not going to bet like life-changing money on it, but like I might put like I don't know.
Feels like
X number of dollars on that.
Feels like compared to other Super Bowls.
Would you bet it?
Yeah, I would. I think the game is very likely to be close, not just because of the point spread.
I think it's close at the end, and like maybe a team wins at the death, or maybe it goes to overtime. Well, I think this is a game where I would actually bet the yes.
Okay, so Shanahan gets up a lot. Turtle time. We had Andy Reid up.
Heroes on the half shell. Yeah. Turtle power.
OT power. We had.
He's the world's most conservative coach.
We had Andy Reid with a lead against Baltimore.
Punts and Jake Moody misses kicks.
and he turtled against Baltimore. They punted like 6 straight possessions. So like both coaches in blowout mode, the game actually compresses back toward 0 again. I'm not saying it's going to go to overtime, and I'm sure like the true probability in what a game with a spread of 2 total 47s probably going to go less than that. This is a game where I actually think it's possible.